Hi, I'm Tony Fowle. This video was prompted by a post on the Homemade Tools forum, homemadetools.net, about some small drivers for sockets and various other things. Now, I've got a small collection assembled here that we can look at in detail for those that are not familiar with these. These are extremely handy tools for certain cases where you're limited for space, or sometimes if you want to drive a nut on just with your fingers, which is a lot faster if you've got a long thread. Sometimes with a bit of dirt on the thread, a bit of rust on the thread, something like that. Although it might be better to clean it up first. Sometimes if we're in a hurry we don't do that, and these little gadgets are very handy for that. So let's zoom in on these and look at each one in detail. Well, this is the collection of tools that I use, so let's look at each one in detail and see what each one does. I'll just clear it out of the way. Right. Let's look at this one first. This is a Craftsman's made one in the US. It's fixed solid, so there's no ratchet in this. At one end it's got a female 1/4 inch hexagon to take the normal screwdriver bits, or in this case a Torx bit, and we can just turn that with our fingers if the torque's not too much. The other end has got a 1/4 inch female square. Now that's useful because we can say run a nut up or run a screw up very quickly with the knurled finger piece, or we can then put in a T-bar if we want to get a bit more torque on it, or alternatively a normal ratchet driver with or without an extension, and then we can drive it in the normal way. So that's very handy, and this is very similar to the set that I mentioned on the Homemade Tools forum, where there was no ratchet built in. These two, this is for this one's got a 3/8 square. This one's similar for a 1/4 inch square. Both of they're a bit bigger in diameter, so you need a little bit more space to operate than we did with this little one. But that bigger diameter gives us a little bit more torque. Now both of these are ratchet versions, and we've just got the normal setting on the back to determine which way the ratchet goes. This would be for unscrewing a right hand thread, and we turn it back here, then little ratchet for doing up a right hand thread. And so how it works is, if we've got an ordinary socket, this is a 1/4 inch one, we can just clip it on here and away we go. Now this is an interesting little one. It's made in Germany. It's a ratchet. You can see here. It's got a female 1/4 inch hexagon in each side. So unlike these, where we can actually select which direction we want the ratchet to go in, this one is fixed, but we just simply turn it over if we want it to go the other way. So if we put our bit in here, I don't know which way this is going to go at the moment. Okay, so that would be driving in a right hand thread, and if I want to undo it, I just reverse it, and then it'll work in the undoing direction. Now this one might seem a little bit out of place amongst these, which were just for doing up with the fingers and thumb, but it's got a detachable handle. So we can just simply take the handle off, and then we've got one just like this, except this one has a ratchet and this one is fixed. The ratchet ones in most cases are the most useful, but not always. Sometimes having a fixed one can be an advantage. Now this one has some similarities to this, even though it's a ratchet one. It has the female hexagon hole in that end for driving the tool, just as the other one did, but on the other end, instead of having a female square 1/4 inch hole, it's got a male one. So we can use this to actually drive a socket, rather than this one we use a wrench to drive the screwdriver bit. So this one's dual purpose. We can use it for driving a socket, or use it for driving a screwdriver bit. The last ones I've got are slightly different. I've got 3 here, 1/2 inch, 1 3/8, and 1 1/4 drive. Now they take the socket just like the others. These are really good because the ball locks in place and is released by this knob in the end, so when you put it into a socket, it's solid. It won't come out unless you press the ball. But with these, they have a hexagon on the end. Now that serves a twofold purpose. One is, if we're limited for space, longitudinal space, then we can put an open-ended spanner on the end and tighten it up. The hexagon on the end is still useful sometimes if you want to drive it with a finger and thumb, because for instance on this one with a smooth surface, it's hard to get much torque just with a thumb and finger on the spanner, yet I can apply quite a bit more torque here because of the hexagon nature of it. It gives something for the finger and thumb to get a grip on, particularly with a 1/2 inch one. That's quite a size there, so you can actually get quite a bit of torque with that one. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful and informative. If you liked it, please click on the like button when you've finished, and if you want to ensure getting notice of future videos, please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time.